Now, let me ask you a question. If somebody will give you $100,000, but you need to quit school or high school or university or your actual job for getting those 100K, would you do it? Now, I am right now imagining tons and tons of different answers. Things like school is useless knowledge, or only use a fraction of this knowledge, or another things like a university degree gives you things that nobody else or nothing else can give you, or other answers just like, well, a job is more stable, why would I quit my job and use those $100,000 if a job is more stable? Well, it's true that all of these ideas actually have some points that are correct, but I think that there's a bigger amount of points that are actually incorrect. I am a personal believer that actually there's no such a thing as useless knowledge. There's just knowledge whose time has not arrived yet. Now, this statement that I am doing doesn't mean that I am a defender of the educational system that we have actually right now functioning in our world. That is actually the same that has been thousands of years functioning in the same exact way in the previous years. Nothing has changed actually in the educational system. This system actually emphasizes in something that is really interesting actually. So, since the minute you are born, you will assist to elementary school. After elementary school, it will come intermediate school, then middle school, and after this middle school, high school. And congrats! That's your first 18 years of assisting to a traditional educational system that hasn't changed since before your dads were born. So you are actually having the same system that your parents had. Now, after these 18 years, you were actually being prepared for assisting another 4 to 7 years to university. Now, what does a university do? Well, university will prepare you for the future of the world. When actually university prepares you for working for a boss in a big company where you are totally replaceable and you are not unique at all. Because guess what? University teaches you the same that it teaches to 1 million different students before you. So guess what? You are totally replaceable. So yeah, I don't know how that actually feels, but I have only 2 years left of high school till I am done with the first process of this educational system that I actually don't like that much. And then, well, my parents just say that I need to assist to a university, that I need a bachelor's degree, so then I can be successful. So that's another point that I will talk about later, but going to a university, have a bachelor's degree, and then you have to go to have a master's degree, because this will differentiate you from the other people, when actually it's the same thing. Let's be honest, guys, it's exactly the same thing. Now, as you see, this is actually how the majority of people live their lives. What is also called the rat race. Getting into a job where you will be paid for the amount of time that you are in that job, not the results, the time. Then, after this, if you are not, guess what? If you are not delivering just like your boss was expecting, well, you will be fired. And you are totally replaceable, so there's tons of people waiting for your seat and waiting for doing the same amount of work that you have done, but for less money. So man, that's a big headache. But what can we do? It's the educational system. Now, on top of this, you need to add that you will need to be hopeful that your boss will give you some vacations and not fire you. Because if he fires you, then you will need to search for another job, because you are just so built to work for somebody else and make money for that someone else, but you're not built to make money for yourself and work in yourself because you don't have faith in yourself. The system has completely taken that thing out of yourself. So you need to work for somebody else because you don't have any faith on yourself, and you need to work your time and you need to work your relationships based on your work for a big company. And man, that's shit. Really, really shit. Now guys, I know these are extremely hard words, but that's just the cruel reality. That's the reality in where we live. That's our world. That's how it's built. And don't think that it will change for better, because this educational system has been there since thousands of years before, and don't expect that to change. Now, I like to personally call this process the pipeline of workers, or the training barracks for the soldiers of money. Now, why am I calling this process just like that? Well, this crazy name actually came to my mind because if you think about this, you are being trained since you're a kid, just like soldiers are trained for getting to a war and winning that war and sacrificing a human being and sacrificing their lives, actually, for winning a war for someone that is bigger than them. I don't know, in this case will be the countries and politicians. Now this process is very, actually it's almost the same for workers. Now why? Because since you are born, you are trained your whole life for working for somebody else that is bigger than you, and you generate money for that somebody else. In this case will be big companies. And guys, this is why I call this the training barracks for the soldiers of money, because the educational system searches and builds soldiers since they are really little, since they are really small. So then these soldiers came back and work and keep working since up to the minute where they retire and they can't work anymore because they are just so overexploded. They have sacrificed so much time in things that actually didn't even influence their personal lives. Guys, please, this process couldn't be called in a better way. And also, if you don't want to follow this path, or you don't want to keep working, then guess what? Don't worry, because the system has all of this covered, actually. So the system has been teaching the same to millions and millions and millions of kids around the world, just for creating that kid to be replaceable for another kid that has been taught the same things that principal kid. So if the minute comes and somebody doesn't want to work, then don't worry, because you're totally replaceable. Everybody has been taught the same way for their bachelor's degree, or for the high school, or for their intermediate school, or I don't know, elementary school. Everybody has been taught the same way. Everybody has been taught the same contents, the same cultures. Everybody has been taught the same way. So then these people are the same, and they can be so replaceable that just by firing someone, you will find instantly another person that is willing to do the same job, but for less money. It's just the way it's built, guys. They build thousands and millions of soldiers, because if one of those soldiers die, then there's another one willing to participate in the same post that soldier that died. Now, the actual thing that differentiates a normal person that has been his entire life in the normal educational system and a successful person is something that isn't taught in the educational system, and this is called the financial education. And man, that financial education has so much scarcity in the normal educational system, but it's so key for being successful in your life, but it just isn't taught in our schools. It isn't. Now, this financial education and the amount of a financial education differentiates people that are replaceable just like Legos are, and successful entrepreneurs that are irreplaceable and provide value to the market, and that have free time for themselves and for their loved ones, and don't have to ask permission to anyone for doing whatever they want with whoever they want and whenever they want. And this, guys, this is the financial education. Now, remember, guys, that real wealth is discretionary time. And man, does this thing of discretionary time go around my head every time that I think about my future, and every time I think about studying at a university. It's just like my dad did or my mom did. It's just like, I don't want that to happen. I don't want to study in a university and get a bachelor's degree to be replaceable and to be the same as another people that studied the same bachelor's degree. I just don't want that. I don't want that in my life. I want to be replaceable. I want to be unique. I want to be successful. But our system, our educational system, just builds us for being replaceable, and just builds us for being just like a Lego in a huge tower of Legos. Guys, this problem is really big, and I love a lot of people actually don't see this problem like a problem. They see it like the way of life, because it's so deep in our world. The educational system is such a big part of our world that we managed to get to the point that we just can't live without it. It's so weird, but it's so true, actually. Just like Albert Einstein once never said, everyone is a genius. But if you judge a fish for its ability to climb a tree, then that fish will pass his whole life thinking that it's stupid. Now, let me ask you, if everyone is different, if everyone's brain is different, then why does the educational system actually treats us like if we are all the same? My guys, that's a big question. Why would the educational system treat us, all of us, like we are all the same, when all of us are actually different? All of our brains function different. All of our beliefs are different. Now, dear watcher that you're watching this video, I hope you liked the video, hope you loved it, and I invite you to comment down in the commentaries below. What are your personal beliefs? What do you think about this theme that I am talking about? And if you like my YouTube channel, please subscribe, give a like, and I will see you in the next week.